pleasure and pain. Pleasure and pain. That's what we're going to talk about in this very important video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. A year ago, I had a near-death-like experience, and ever since then, I could pick up on energies and I could even hear from God itself. I was told it would take my soul 14,422 lifetimes to be completed. So I decided to start a social media platform so I can help more people speed this thing on up and finally get the heck up off the earth school. I'm tired, guys. Ready to go. Hey guys, welcome back to Instructions for Humanity. It is your girl, your spiritual teacher, Tahirah, where I teach the divine message I received, that we are all one in love. Grow with me, guys. Love with me. It's going to be a great ride. Okay, guys. It's going to be a very fun episode today, but first go ahead and click on that subscribe button, please. Do it now, please. You don't want to miss any of the future videos, and go ahead and click on that notification bell as well. Okay, guys, we are talking about pleasure and pain. Pleasure and pain. That's what we're talking about today, guys. Let me get my music started here. Get us in the mood. Now, guys, you know that I spoke about the light to dark matrix ratio. So I'm going to link that video, but let me just explain what that is. So it was revealed to me that the way this operation works is they want 2/3 light things happening on the earth. So 2/3 pleasurable things happening, and 1/3 dark things happening, or 1/3 painful things happening. That is the energy that we're under on this planet. So guys, no, we're not going to have all good times all the time, because this earth life was not designed to be 100% good. It was designed to be 2/3 light and 1/3 dark. So that got me to thinking, how can we use the matrix ratio, flip it on its head, use it to actually help us on our soul's journey? And that's when I realized that we can use this ratio in everything, so that we can go ahead and cause pain on ourselves. Not just any pain, pain that refines our soul, pain that refines the person that we are and the person that we want to become, because it is through the darkness that you can see the light. Now, guys, I just want to go ahead and just say that if it was all light all the time, you wouldn't even understand the pleasures that you are experiencing, because you don't have anything to weigh it against. You need the pain in life. So that way, when you get to the pleasure, you understand that you are in the pleasure. Now, guys, right now, what? I am drinking my pain. Let me go ahead and take a sip of it. But when I take a sip, it's going to be pleasure, because you know water has energy. I'm drinking my pleasure right now. Because, guys, I've been drinking water for only 5 days now. And I'm going to continue to drink my pain until I get to where I want to be. Because why? During the winter months, I had too much pleasure. Too much pleasure, not enough pain, equals weight gain. So I'm drinking my pain right now. I'm going to continue drinking it for the next week or two, or who knows. But until I get to where I want to be, I'm going to experience the pain, because I want to be out in the summer to enjoy the pleasure. Okay? So I just wanted to make you guys understand what I'm talking about here. Now, guys, when we are in the pain energy, that's actually our God energy we're in. If we can withstand certain things that happen to us, all this pain we're experiencing, all the relationships, everything that we go through, if we can go ahead and get through that and move through that fire, we are what? We are sharpening our weapon. We are creator gods. We are sharpening our godship. The darkness is how you're able to get to the light. It's how you're able to even recognize the light. It's because you are in darkness. So we need them both. Okay, so I want you to understand that you need to cause 1/3 pain in your life. Look in your life. Is there anything that you're not doing so good at? Maybe you're at a job and you're not really doing that great. Maybe you're quiet quitting. Quiet quitting is when you just do the bare minimum just to get by. 5 o'clock, 5:01, your tires are screeching in the parking lot. You gone. That is quiet quitting. Maybe you have been quiet quitting. Maybe you want to get back on track. Go ahead and use the 2/3 pleasure to the 1/3 pain ratio. Go ahead and calculate it and say, oh, I guess I got to stay at work an extra 5-6 hours this week so I can bring the 1/3 pain so you can experience the pleasure, which may be a raise or something like that. But we can use that in our lives. And we can also use that. I want you to understand that pain is necessary. So what I'm building up to is that, see, a lot of people, especially in the new age, they think they're just going to go back home and merge with source. They're going to go in the dark void, and then they're going to see that light beam, the one I saw in my near-death-like experience, and then they're going to merge with it, and then that's it. No, guys, I'm here to tell you, if you do not go through the pains of life, source does not accept back broken pieces. It doesn't. See, your religions tell you that you're only going to be complete and whole when you go back home to God, when you go to Jesus. Not true. Source is a perfectly balanced mathematical equation. Source doesn't change. Source is the same as it was 1 billion years ago. If source changes, then everything changes. Source cannot change. Source is the internal. It's constant. That's the sound of the spirit of source. That's why you always hear that sound of nothingness in your ears when you're not being fed any dialogue. That is the sound of the source spirit. It is constant. It will never change. Never. So why do you think it's going to tailor itself for you? You come down here, you take all these lives. The whole point is to refine thyself. There is a purpose why we take all these lives. There's a purpose why when source was whole, it exploded out and we became individual pieces, individual souls, individual planets, individual universes, all of that. We came here on purpose to take part in these matrix games. Yes, this is a matrix. Heaven is part of the matrix. Spirit told me that. You go from spirit school, which is heaven, to earth school. Spirit school, earth school. And you stay on that rotation until you become God. Because if you want to go back to source, now one day, this is what the Spirit told me. One day, I'm going to swallow the earth and all of the universes. And we're going to come back together again. We're going to be like it was in the beginning, one energy source. Do you think you're going to be able to come down here and just do the bare minimum and be quiet quitting everything you do? Being in the pleasure of your life? Just always wanting to be so. That's still part of the material world, wanting pleasure all the time. You want the feel goods to the body. You always want to be drinking and smoking and taking hallucinogens and having all this crazy sex and just doing all this stuff. Now, guys, you can do all those things. You can enjoy the pleasure, but there has to be a level of pain. That's why we're here. We're not here just to buy into the matrix game completely. We have a purpose here. Don't let all these lives be in vain. Don't let them be in vain. You must understand that it's through the darkness, through the pain, that we're able to enjoy the pleasures. And so no, source is not going to accept a broken piece back. Let's say I've used this example before, but let's say you have diabetes, right? Let's say source is a whole body and you are the toe of source. And you've been running amok. You've just been running wild, doing whatever you want to do. You had no regard for people. You just been doing you, living too much in your lower self. and all the things that come along with it. And then Source looks at the totality of the Source body. It was like, oh, this toe right here, this toe is bad. Doesn't fit the formula anymore. This toe is bad, must get cut off. Trust and believe it's going to cut that toe off. It's like diabetes. You don't cut the toe off, what does it do? It just spreads until you lose your whole leg or until you lose your life completely. It is the same thing with Source. If you are a weak link, it's not going to accept you back. Think about it. You have, let's say you broke up with your ex and, you've just, after you cried and healed and all that stuff, you've been doing better, you've been growing and you've been working on yourself. And then he bring his scraggly butt back and he looking all dusty, looking like a wayward child. And you were like, you're going to accept that back? You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it because you have evolved. You have worked on yourself. You have refined yourself. You have balanced yourself. Now here comes your ex. He's been doing the opposite. If he comes into your life, what he's going to do? It's going to mess up that balance. You're going to be just like him, a dust bunny, just like him. It is the same thing with Source. Source is completeness. Source is constant. Okay? Well-balanced mathematical equation. It's not going to change for you. So we must understand when it's time to bring the 1/3 pain in our lives. If you're training, let's say you're training for something. I don't know, a spelling bee, girl. I don't know. You're training for something. You have to go through a level of pain. That is how you come out on the other side. There was this guy once, and he's a famous, I think Navy SEAL. I don't know. He tells his story all over. He did 3 hell weeks. It's not a hell week, but it's like when they're training for boot camp to become a Navy SEAL. They go through, actual hardcore training. And he did 3 in 1 year. And that's unheard of because it's so hard on your body. His body, he did it 2 times and he failed because he had to lose 100 pounds in 3 months before he even started this. And then on the 3rd time, his body was broken. His knees were all beat up. You know what he did? He put duct tape around his knee and kept on trucking for weeks and weeks, even a month or so. It was a long time. But he was putting himself through the 1/3 pain. Now he's a Navy SEAL. Now he is a famous author. Because of that pain he went through, he got so much more than even just being a Navy SEAL. He's revered now as a motivational speaker. He's great. He's great now because you must hold yourself to the fire. That's what I did. When I fasted for almost a year, I held my feet to the fire. I went through the pain. Some days I felt like I was going to die, but I knew I had to do it. Without the pain, there is no sense of pleasure. There is no sense of pleasure. It just becomes a habit at that point. You ever notice you're doing something that most people would say, okay, that this is a good thing. This feels good, to my senses. But when you do it every day, it loses it. Like when you drink every day, there is no pleasure in it. Unlike, let's say you don't drink every day, and when you wait until you go on vacation and you have your cocktails and your margaritas and stuff, it feels so much better because you have withstand from it. You have experienced the 1/3 pain. That's the point that I'm trying to make. That we must put ourselves through the fire. We must refine ourselves. That is why we are here on the Earth School. Do not let the past life you just led, that person that you were, if you don't step up to your Godship now, then you lived in vain in that life or in all those lives. It could be 100,000 lives, 50,000 lives, guys. Don't live in vain anymore. Understand that pain is necessary. Pain is the only way you can become a God. It is the only way. You can't do it any other way. You can't. Okay? So it's the same thing. Like I said, source is constant. It does not change. It's not going to bend the rules for you. It's not going to love bomb you. Now, people have all these near-death experiences. And, I have to say, any spirit that changes itself to tailor itself to you, meaning to change form, just be very leery of that, because source is constant. Source is not going to change for you. Source is complete within itself. It's lacking absolutely nothing. And it's not going to love bomb you with all of this love. What you should actually be feeling is completeness and oneness, which can feel like love. It can feel very similar to love. Imagine putting a piece together. You've been working on a puzzle for 40 years and you finally get that last piece. Yeah, you're going to feel on cloud 9. You're going to feel a sigh of relief, completeness. That is what source does. So when we have these experiences with source, we should be feeling completeness. Okay? We should be feeling completeness, not love bombed, but complete and whole. It should make us feel whole. It should make us feel like gods. Okay? Yeah, when you go to jail, what happens? That person who greets you, they are the same. It's just like source. The person who greets you at the jail, they're like, name, please, ID, next. Name, please, ID, next. Name, please, ID, next. They can't change, just like source. They can't change. If they changed, some criminals, hardcore criminals, would be out on the street. If they change, then you would no longer be safe. It would change everything. It would change your communities. It would change your states, your crime rates. The same thing with source. Source is not going to change for you. You are here to change for source because you are source. You're here to remember that you're source. In order to remember that you are source, you have to have a level of pain. You have to hold your feet to the fire so that you can refine yourself. That is how you turn into a God. So I just wanted to say that we can use the light to dark ratio that the heaven matrix set up to stir the pot down here. And I'm going to link that video too, because that's what's happening. That's why you keep being reincarnated. And that is how you are feeling all of the mood swings and the polarities. They are doing a 2/3 light situation to a 1/3 dark. There is no such thing as free will, only variables. They don't need you messing up the formula. So I'm going to go ahead and link that video. But I just wanted to say that we can use that. Now that we know how the matrix actually runs, that's going to help us in our everyday lives, guys. Okay? Let me see if there's anything else I want to say. I don't think so. I think I've said it all, guys. I think I've said it all. Guys, I hope this resonated with any of you beautiful people out there. Guys, go ahead and drink your pain. I mean, seriously, drink your pain. If you have never done a fast, you have to do it. You have to do it. It's going to challenge your mind, guys. It's going to challenge your mind. And it might even trigger all of these spiritual, transformative experiences, the ones that I've been having and a lot of other people have been having when they fast. Drink your pain, guys. Drink your pain. Okay, guys, I think that's all I really want to say. But first, I love you. The birds, the bees, and the trees, they all love you too. And I'm going to say it. Love is the way, forgiveness is the key, and truth is the light that guides us home. Be well, guys. Be well.